On the economy, you would see that we have double-digit inflation at the moment. We have double-digit unemployment at the moment. Over less than a year now, the Naira has, in the parallel market, depreciated by over 50%. Then, beyond this, state governments are struggling to pay some of the salaries. They've gone for bailouts, but a number are still struggling to pay salaries. So all this tells us that economically, Nigeria will be challenged in 2016, and hopefully it will get better before the end of 2016 or early 2017, depending on the things that are put in place by the government to address this. In terms of the economy, the government has passed the budget. It's the largest budget that the country has had, 6.06 trillion, which is about $30 billion. So it's huge. And also the focus of the budget is about 30% of it is going into capital projects as opposed to recurring expenses. So that is a clear signal by the government that they want to do something to address the economy. Besides that, the government has also had a 2-day retreat to look at the different areas in the economy that they should address. They've looked at agriculture, what are the things that they need to put in place in order to drive agriculture forward. A couple of things that they've proposed. One is to empower the Bank of Agric, enabling it to address the access to finance challenges that farmers have had, others in the agricultural space have had. So that's one thing that the government is looking at. Besides that, they're also looking at feeder roads to this farmland so that the farmers can actually bring their crops out of the farms and into the market. They're also looking at providing a buyer in those communities so that they can buy from the farmers wholesale. So the farmers don't have to carry all their products out, and the products also do not get spoiled. But you actually have commodity boards in those states that are big farming communities so that they can buy from the farmers and take it out at good prices and sell those produce. In terms of security, the government has done quite a bit on that. It has been able to technically rout Boko Haram from the northeast, and it's working to ensure that going forward, the every now and then bomb blast that we hear because of these fringes of Boko Haram here and there comes to an end. And the big one which the government has really pushed on is the fight against corruption. One of these measures is the Treasury Single Account, which ensures that all government funds actually go into the central bank and they are accounted for, as opposed to being spread all over in commercial banks and not being able to account for them. We produce quite a lot of rice in the country, but if or when the government totally bans rice, that means that there will be big opportunity for rice farmers within the country. And it doesn't just apply to rice, it applies to so many other produce and foods that we eat in the country. So that's import substitution in agric. Another thing that is in agric is really the processing. There's so much produce in the country that gets bad. One example is tomatoes. It gets bad. All the middle belt, all the northern states more or less produce tomatoes, and it all gets bad. So there's a huge opportunity for processing in tomato and other farm produce. Just as an indication, the Dangote has opened a huge tomato puree company in the north right now, which shows that clearly there's an opportunity in processing tomatoes, and tomato is just one example. A second area that there's a lot of opportunity is solid minerals. The solid mineral space is almost not tapped into. It's just mostly illegal mining at the moment. And the government is putting in the right legislation to ensure that that space is actually opened up. So those are the traditional areas. Now let's go to the non-traditional areas, or the new areas. One new area is fintech, financial technology, payments, is a big thing worldwide, and it's going to be a big thing in Nigeria. Another one is e-commerce. Yes, there's a lot of e-commerce currently in the country. I talked about Jumia, I talked about Konga, but there's still room for a lot more. And it doesn't just have to be what those companies are focused on right now. There's still other spaces that one can look at in e-commerce. I would say it's a year that is hopeful. We expect that in December 2016, we would look back and say, yes, we came through, and despite it being challenging, we're better off in December than in January. So I'm quite hopeful about things.